Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome into Lighthouse Tapestry. We have a full house for you tonight for our full moon in Taurus ritual, and we are so honored that you have joined us. And let us start out by introducing the crew. Betsy, I'm going to start with you. We've got Betsy.
Hi.
We have Ruby. We have Ron and Morgan and Wendy and Dawn and myself, Sari. So welcome in, and we're delighted to be with you this evening. Just real quickly, we do have an announcement of our normal Wednesday live, which is tomorrow night, Wednesday the 5th at 8 p.m. So join us for more conversation around the energies and how we're all navigating this. And we'll be pulling some cards for the collective as well as for individuals. So we hope you'll join us. So for tonight, what you need, so if you are getting prepared, so we've had a number of you join us. Welcome in. As you're joining in, let us know that you're on the chat and where you're dialing in from. So you need a candle tonight. I've got a big one. You also need a lighter. It's good to have a bowl of water if you're going to be burning, because we tend to burn a lot. And get a pen and paper. So what we've been doing is putting the things that we want to let go of, and I cut mine up. And so you can write them down and then tear them, and we'll have a ritual ceremony that Dawn's going to be leading. So again, this is for the full moon in Taurus. There's a lot of energy. We'll be talking a little bit about that, and we'll pull some cards. And Ruby's going to get started with a clearing, but we will have the ritual done towards the end. So we would encourage you to stay with us so that you can have the full experience. These are very powerful. And whether you're with us live or you're seeing this on a recording, the energy is still the same. It's still very strong. And we would encourage you also, I'm showing you some of my crystals. I put those in the window last night. So if you haven't charged your crystals, you're going to have a supercharging moment over the next 24 hours. So feel free to put your crystals out and get them supercharged. With that, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn it over to Ruby, who's going to do our clearing for this evening.
Hey, everybody. All right. So this is just to get us into the energy for the evening. So let's get settled and find a comfortable seat, or you can lie down if that feels better for you. Gently close your eyes, or you can soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it go through your mouth. Feel your shoulders relax, your jaw unclench, and your hands loosen. You are safe. You are here. You are held under the light of this full moon. Breathe into that space right at the center of your chest, your heart center. Imagine that with every breath, you're gathering the gold white light of the moon into that space. This is the light of remembrance of who you truly are. Let it grow brighter until you can feel it radiating through you like moonlight over calm water. The times are changing, and so are you. Anything that once defined you, but now feels too small, exhale it out. With every breath, release old patterns, fears, expectations, and timelines that no longer serve the person you are becoming. See those old energies as autumn leaves. The wind of change carries them gently away. Whisper to yourself, I release what has completed its cycle. I trust the rhythm of change. Feel the earth beneath you, steady, loyal, unshakable. Feel the moon above you, luminous, guiding, eternal. Between the two, you are perfectly supported as the world turns. Now bring your awareness back to your breath. Each inhale draws in peace, and each exhale grounds that peace into your life, your relationships, your path. The light within you has not dimmed, it has only deepened. Whisper softly, I am aligned with change. I flow with grace. I shine through transition. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, returning gently to the present moment. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Know that you carry the calm, grounded radiance of the moon within you. I'm going to turn it back over to Dawn.
Hello, everyone. So there we go. Hi. So I was inspired, and I love what Ruby just said, because I heard last week this song called "Times They Are Changin'." It's a Bob Dylan song. So shout out to Minnesota, because he's from Minnesota. And I thought, wow, this is so true, especially right now with everything that we've got going on and will continue to have go on through next summer, but especially when we have Uranus move back into Taurus and we have the other planets, Neptune and Saturn, working their remaining things to finish out old things, the last degree, the very last degree of the zodiac. The very last degree. Neptune is staying at that degree, a place where it rules that sign. So to tie in the theme with things that they are changing, and we don't know what's coming in, but we are building this energy up and forward. So I want to share with you the astrology chart for this evening. So let me go ahead and show that to you, and so that you can see that we do have this beautiful full moon in Taurus at 13 degrees. So you can already see the full moon in the sky. And again, put your crystals out, put your tarot card decks out. It's a wonderful opportunity to clear those. So just like we clear that energy, we're going to be clearing that energy this evening. The thing to remember is that we are in Scorpio season, and there's a lot of deep energy that is needing to be released. Scorpio is very much about emotion. It's very much about hidden things, deep things. And to me, what's interesting is that we do have Venus, who rules both Libra and Taurus. So she's the ruler, actually, of this full moon. She is at 28 degrees when this perfects. 28 degrees is the degree that the last new moon in Libra was on. And we will be having 28-degree new moons for the next 4 months, including a 28-degree eclipse in Aquarius. So this is the energy that's building, this 28 degrees. And Venus started it off. And to me, Venus looks like she's continuing to be a part of this energy. So again, you feel the divine feminine coming up. And it's more the energy of seeking to balance that with the male energy that everyone has within them. So that's what I really wanted to focus on. I will say everybody probably noticed that Mars is opposite Uranus, not only today, but tomorrow. And then the day after tomorrow, Mars will be opposite Sedna. And I'll talk a little bit more about Sedna when we do our burn ceremony, because there's a lot of that deep emotion that we will be feeling. And Sedna is a perfect symbol of that. So let me go ahead and move back and bring this back in. So I just wanted to touch on the astrology briefly so that you can see that this feminine energy is building, and the 28 degrees that Venus is at, which is the ruler of this 13-degree Taurus moon, we're continuing on bringing this feminine energy in. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Betsy so that she can give us a channeled message.
Thank you, Dawn. I'm so glad that you mentioned the feminine energy. And I also want to thank everybody for tuning in and giving us an opportunity to share with you. We're very excited to be with you this evening. This is my first full moon ceremony, and I'm excited. So the reason I'm glad that you brought that up, Dawn, is because today, earlier when we got to talk, some goddesses came in, which was exciting for me because they don't always come in. As many of you know, my main guide is Orion. And to have the feminine energy come in was very powerful and, again, exciting for me. And then when I got to do a channeling later in the day, who would come in but Diana, the goddess of the hunt? And I think in the 40 years that I've been doing this, maybe it's the second or third time she's come in. And so, of course, I asked her, what are you doing here? And she said, I'm here for the divine protection and power of the feminine. And I was reading or channeling for someone who's a female, and it really worked well for her. She was in the process of writing books, children's books, and it gave to her an authenticity for that part of her inner child, which wanted to express itself. So it was very complimentary for the energy that's with us right now, this divine energy, and to have a goddess come through during a channeling. And Dawn, I think when we were together, goddesses came through. So that is a hint about what's going on. If you're wondering, what's happening to me? If you're feeling emotional or loving, some of the feminine signs, then you are feeling this wonderful energy. Now, I would like to channel for you, and I'm going to simply ask Spirit if they would channel on what does this particular full moon mean to us. And let's see what they have to say, shall we? So I just relax and go to my heart and allow the divine, and often Orion, to come through with a message that comes from a higher level of vibration and love to us. Enjoy. Hello, our beloveds. Please know indeed that there is a group of us, male and female, for indeed there is that vibration called the divine feminine or the sacred feminine that is within each one of you and indeed within us as well. This particular full moon does harness power. And if you are open to it, and if you believe in it, it gives unto you even more vibrational power. And what is power? The willingness to act. So if you find that you are not afraid and that you are moved to take action, you are feeling the courage that comes with this powerful energy of this particular full moon. This particular full moon is bringing to you an awareness of opening to your own truth, to recognizing who you are now, your values, and to let go of the values you no longer hold. Yes, you have grown up. You have changed. You're not who you were at 18. And if you are 18, you're not who you were at 12. We want you to know that as you grow, you learn. As you learn, you become wise, or you have wisdom. With this wisdom, you make new choices because you have new values. This particular full moon gives unto you the opportunity to, number one, recognize your values now so that you can align with those and make choices moving towards those values, expressing themselves in your life. And now we would say unto you, in addition to that, take a look at the values that you no longer have. And how are you hanging on to them? Because perhaps it's customary, or perhaps it's an addiction, or is your ego entering in and scolding you or bringing up fear? If you do this, what will happen? We say unto you, trust change, because this particular full moon is bringing the energy of change to your life and to your world. Trust the change. You will go through the ups and downs. This is the Leela of life itself. Either love or lessons are coming unto you. Trust the change, because ultimately you will grow. And with your growth, you will have more wisdom. With your wisdom, you will recognize higher values. With that, you will have the opportunity to choose greater love. Bring into your being this evening, with the power of this full moon, your choice to live fully and freely in love. Explore the grand adventure of life. And yes, do bring in the goddesses. The goddess Venus in particular is with you in this stirring of energy. But if you are aligned with other goddesses such as Isis or Athena or Sophia, bring in the goddess that aligns with your heart and know they love you and they are here assisting you to find your sacred truth. Emulate it, believe in it, and in so doing, you are believing in yourself. You are becoming authentic, and then step into that power by owning it and expressing it. Choose your values, align with them, take action, own your power, and move into your divine and sacred life. The choice is yours. And so it is, with our love to you forever, always been and always will be. So it is. Amen, amen, amen. All right. Thank you so very much. And with this, I'll pass it on to Ron. Thank you, Ron.
Oh, thank you, Betsy. That was wonderful. Although I didn't hear much about the masculine. Anyway, okay, I'm jumping in here. As you all know, I use the Book of Runes, okay, by Ralph Bloom. Again, it was channeled material. And I've been pulling the same runes over and over again. If you were in the last couple of sessions, you may recognize this rune. It's, again, this is the third time in a row that I pulled this rune out of a bag of 25 that I shake and rattle and roll, trying to find something different. So the message is getting very consistent. And this rune is disruption. So in case you don't recall, didn't memorize what I said last time, what it is that change, freedom, invention, and liberation are all attributes of this rune. Drawing it indicates a pressing need within the psyche to break free from the constricting identification with material reality and to experience the world of archetypal mind. The rune of elemental disruption, of events that seem to be totally beyond your control, and tell me about that. This rune has only an upright position, and yet it always operates through reversal. When you draw this rune, expect disruption, for it is the great awakener. Again, we're hearing all the same theme tonight. Although the form of the awakening takes may vary, perhaps you will experience a gradual feeling of coming to your senses, as though you are emerging from a deep sleep. Then again, the onset of power may be such as to rip away the fabric of what you previously knew as your reality, your security, your understanding of yourself, your work, your relationships, or beliefs. Disruption takes many forms. A relationship fails, plans go awry, source of supply dries up. But do not be dismayed. Whether you created the disruption or whether it came from an outside source, You are not without power in this situation. Your inner strength, the will that you have funded until now in your life, provides support and guidance at a time when everything you've taken for granted is being challenged. Another of the cycle runes, the term radical discontinuity, best describes the action of this rune at its most forceful. The more severe the disruption in your life, the more significant and timely the requirements for your growth. The universe and your own soul are demanding that you do indeed grow. And blessings to us all. Okay, and I'm going to pass it on to Morgan.
Thanks so much, Ron. Okay. So this evening when I was driving home, I looked up and my guide said to me, they said, I saw a big empress pregnant. That's how they described to me the moon when I looked up at the moon. And then they said that there is a big birth happening. This is what they said. So then I shuffled the cards, and the card that flipped out and made itself very obvious was, again, I felt like that same, like, oh, this big birth is happening. So with this circle, I got that same moon energy, and it says, starting fresh. A wonderful new beginning is blossoming in my life. Okay, so it says a new cycle is blossoming in your life. All that is not needed from the past is dropping away as you release the old and embrace the new. The universe wants you to know all life travels in cycles. On our beautiful planet, plants die in the winter so that new life can emerge in the spring. It's the spiral dance of death and rebirth. This represents a time in your life to start fresh. Do not linger with old situations, relationships, or places that no longer serve your higher good. Let go and sail into unfamiliar waters. Stretch into a new direction, even if you feel await you. So with that, I am going to pass it on to Wendy.
Hello. All right. I love how all of these things just fall into place and come together in the synchronicities with everything. It always amazes me every single time. But I pulled a card from the Moonology Oracle since we're doing the full moon ritual. And I had to laugh because what I asked was, okay, since we're doing a full moon ritual, we're releasing things, we're letting go of things, we're going to do this burn. So what is it that we need to release and let go of? And I pulled this card. It's the full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. So literally just answered my question quite directly. And I know the full moon is in Taurus, but we are in Scorpio time. So also that alignment is there. So it says, if you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It's time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about. So if someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotionally intense time since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense, which all of that completely lines up with everything that Dawn said with the astrology. It's amazing. Okay, so it's time for you to feel all of your feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card. If that's the case, then take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. For some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life can improve now if you make an effort. So use your magic. You have all you need inside you to bring about your desired result. Remember to emote. It's all better out than in. So let those feelings come out. Don't shove them down. Say your piece, even if it's just out loud to yourself. so that you can release it and let it go. You don't want to hold that in. So it is time to move from living fearfully to living joyfully. You know, if you have suspicions about them, trust your intuition, because you very well may be right. You know, explore that. But don't hold a grudge. Grudges are toxic to you. You have to figure out how you can let that energy go and just release it so that you are not holding on to it and keeping it with you. Okay. So I hope that resonates for those of you watching who are with us. And I am going to go ahead and pass it on to Dawn so she can get us started on the ritual.
I think that's hysterically funny that here's the good news. You're going to have better sex with all of this other stuff going on. Yay us. So that's for all of us, I think. So what I want to do is we're going to get started with this ceremony. And one of the things I will be utilizing is I don't know if you're aware of this, but Diana is the moon goddess in the Roman pantheon, right? That she, yeah. So it's Selene would be in the Greek Hellenistic. So, and there's always swapping stories over, and also her being the goddess of the huntress, which very much ties into the Artemis that we use. So we use 3 moon goddesses when we usually do our ceremonies. And so Artemis would be the goddess of the hunt, but in the Roman tradition, it's just Diana. So just so that we're aware of that. So I thought it was very interesting that came out, and that's who she had a chance to talk about.
Very, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So as always, everything seems to be very synchronistic. So what I'm going to do is I will start us through. And if you have a candle and if you have a lighter, then we'll be about ready to start that. What I like to tell everyone is, even if you don't have a candle or a lighter, the most important thing is having a piece of paper and then writing on it so that you're going to release this. And we will burn, but if you are not able to burn, that is fine. You can rip it up, you can bury it, you can flush it down the toilet. You are allowed to use bad words when you're writing things that you want to release. So this is something that we want you to make your own, and anything that may have come up, especially during this time since the last full moon, because we are in Scorpio season. That's about deep, dark emotions that are coming to the surface, especially with this grand water trine that's happening. So with that energy, I want you to know that anybody that's watching this as a recording, anybody that's here with us, if you do not have all the tools that I am using, and I like to incorporate the elements in, that is part of us being in vibration together. And it's a very alchemical process, and we are on a higher level. We're all communicating in the no time that we're getting to learn more and more about. So let's get started with lighting the candle, and then we can move on to our other little special things. So I am calling in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Sandalphon, and Archangel Uriel. And here I am lighting my candle as a symbol of this being started. So this is my first step, is lighting this candle. And I do want to incorporate that as fire. And I do want to incorporate my chime, my Tibetan bowl, as vibration and sound and air. Cool. One of the things that I will be doing, I do have my water here to put out what usually is a very, very big flame for me when I light my stuff. But I did also grab 2 crystals. And for me, I wanted to symbolize both Scorpio and Venus. Actually, this is the one I wanted for Venus. Yay, green, heart chakra. So these are Mars and Venus for me. So as I'm talking to you, I wanted to be able to hold on to them and release some of the energy, and then I can put them out later on to cleanse them. So if that's something that you want to do, that you know that you can maybe send some of your energy into that, I think that is something you can do. I will be writing a little bit, so I'll have to put one of them down. So let's actually talk about what we are going to be releasing. One of the things that happened today was we do have Mars opposite Uranus. Now, in the collective, that is very unstable, warlike energy. And Mars happens to be very close to Mercury. So you do have to watch what you say and what you do. Unexpected news can be coming out. And being that I'm a strong Mercury anyway, with a Mars and Gemini at 6 degrees. So they're going to be, and I'm having an opposition during the beginning of this retrograde. So I am going to be dangerous to everyone. I'm going to be wearing tape on my mouth and counting to 100 several times before I say anything. So if I manage to sneak out a word or two that is not appropriate, please forgive me. But I do want everyone to realize that it's you're going to get irritated, and things that before you probably wouldn't consider very much about that, it's going to really bug you. So that's some of that energy that's going to be going on. And especially when we have Mercury retrograde, just causes us more things that we can have going wrong, especially with the internet and that kind of energy. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting interrupted internet outages here and there, some of that to happen as just a matter of course. So with what's going on now, I think one of the deep things that we need to release, and also works with this astrology, is that Mars is actually going to be in a perfect opposition with Sedna. Sedna has been making herself known very loudly the past 2 years, and she was last here in this area of the solar system in 9,000 BC. So she has almost a 12,000 year orbit, very uneven, and she will be spending about 60 years in Gemini before she gets the closest to Earth when she's in Cancer. So the important thing for us to realize about Sedna is she is the goddess, the deep ocean Arctic goddess that was the one that experienced deep betrayal. And I know some of you are aware, but just for those who are not, she was married to someone and who abused her. Her father came to get her. As they were traveling back towards home, a storm came up. He threw her from the boat to save himself. And when she tried to climb back into the boat, he cut off her fingers. This is that symbol of deep betrayal that a lot of us can relate very much to. And one of the things I've come to realize that she is really important during these times now, because we are going through things that will feel that there has been a deep betrayal on many different levels, globally, I'm speaking. So I really feel that take a look at what you have in your own life that was a betrayal that's holding you back, that you cannot get away from, that you can't release that. And the thing about Sedna problems are you can't solve them. So if you have a betrayal that happened to you, what Sedna allows us to do, because this she alchemized and she swam deeper into the ocean, and her fingers became dolphins and seals and whales, and she now rules that area. And she's going to be coming out stronger and louder over the next couple years. So to me, it was important. I actually wrote this down because I felt like it was important to say that with Sedna, you don't accept the fact that they betrayed you. You're accepting the fact that you can't do anything about that betrayal. I think there's a huge difference with that. If someone betrayed you, that is a matter of a historical thing. That betrayal isn't going to change, but you can change the fact that I am accepting that that happened and that I cannot fix that. So I think that is what Sedna is going to allow us to be able to do in a way that some of the other goddesses aren't able to do for us. So it doesn't excuse it. It doesn't say, oh, I really feel that, you know, everybody's had their own time and period of having that sense of betrayal. And, but if you hang on to that emotional connection that you have with that person, it does not serve you and it keeps you back. It's a block to your moving forward. This is something that Sedna was able to do. And because of it, she was allowed then to rise and become more, because she accepted that she couldn't change what was happening in that boat, that boat wasn't safe for her. She accepted that, not that the betrayal was okay. And I always kind of cringe when I'm like, people are like, oh yeah, you know, it's in the past. And I'm like, but it still happened. And this has been my way of being able to get past that, is like, okay, Sedna says, okay, you can't solve a Sedna problem. You can't. But you can accept that you can't solve it. And then you move on. And I think, to me, that has been the most important thing for me to help release some of these emotions that I you know, sometimes can come up with different things, especially now when we have this grand water trine with Jupiter in Cancer, and a lot of old family wounds are coming back up. And you can write those down and you can use whatever bad words that you want to, and realize that may be your Sedna problem that you cannot fix, but you can move away from it and become more, because you recognize that that's not your problem to solve. You can't solve it. So especially with family issues, because with some people, if they're just friends, you walk away. Sometimes with the family, they've roped and tied you up for generations, and it's hard to escape that. So be aware of old karmic ties that are ending, especially now. You have your own safety. You have your own things that you're going to be going forward onto. Sedna in her way ascended and became the goddess of those deep oceans with the power that she has there. And I think we're doing the same thing now. It's not easy. It's very painful to write some of these things down, but I think us doing it, and we will need to repeatedly do it. I have a few things that mostly it's gone. Mostly it's gone. Every once in a while, it's like, yeah, I need to burn on this again, because I was just thinking about this the other day. So we really want to encourage you to do that. We really want you to take a look at those deep emotions and not deny them, but look at them just like Chiron will ask you to clean out the wound. You can't clean out a wound that you ignore. It's a wound. You have to clean it out deeply, disinfect it. It's painful. It's not fun, but you do have to look at it. So with that, there's a few things that I think that we can all write down and release. And I'm doing that with the knowledge that the astrology is really kind of goofy, and there's other things that are going to be coming up that we're going to have to accept that, okay, you know, even if you're talking extreme things like the money, like money goes away. Let's say tomorrow everything fails, the money goes away. Okay. That would make a lot of people angry, but is there a problem that we can solve in that? No. So what do? Actually, a lot. My family grows things, and I mean, I have a sister that can tell you all the parts of the dandelion that you can eat, everything but the stem, right? So, and there's other people around that we'll be able to rely on. And that's the other beautiful part, is we are forming community in this way. And it's a beautiful moment for us to be able to understand other people's pain, and then kind of go, okay, that's a Sedna problem. Moving forward. Now what? Can't fix it. Got to move on. And we're all getting to the point more and more where we're finding our own tribe that's at our vibrational level. I cannot tell you the number of people like, yeah, I've had people leaving my life, but I've met these really amazing other people. And that's going to be happening more and more. And I also believe that that we are also then going to be getting into those more personal relationships, that we have jobs to do with those people. And I think that's eventually going to come. So with that, please write down the different things that you might want to release on a personal basis regarding your personal relationships, regarding your addictions, because Scorpio is very much about addictions, right? It can be an alcohol or cigarettes or fast food, right? Addiction. With me, it's sugar. So there's all these different things that that we can release, and we're not going to get it perfect, but the more that we take care of our bodies, which is really, really important. Again, I can't emphasize too much at how much I've been told that you have to take really good care of yourself, because you're needed, and no one can take care of you but you. Put your own mask on first, right? So with that, we need to get ready. Since I've been holding these the entire time, so I'm letting that energy flow into this, and I'll cleanse those later. We are ready to take our little journey. First of all, I want you to fold your paper up, because I want you to place it against your heart. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want us to go into a forest where there are leaves all around us. And as we look up, we see through some of the leaves that are still remaining on the trees, we see that big, full moon. And we start walking towards it and hearing the leaves crunch as we're moving. The smell of the autumn. Always feels like there's a bit of dampness in the air. And we're going to come into a large open field. We are celebrating this in a Taurus fashion, in a field that had once been a mother to growing corn. And it has been cleared and harvested and put away. We approach the circle and see a huge fire, a sacred spark that we all join around. We greet old friends and new friends. And as we prepare to form our circles, we see the entrance of Diana. She has come to this full moon ceremony to be an additional guide. She is the goddess of the hunt. She would survive. She is able to help others. She is asking us to take all of those wounds from the things that have betrayed us, the things that we struggle with, the things that hold us back, the old relationships that caused us difficulty, and the ones that we are currently releasing that are toxic. Pour the energy of those emotions into that paper so that you may release it from your body and know that it has no more hold for you. Take a deep breath in and hold and release it slowly. And you continue to send those emotions away from you. Another nice, slow, deep breath in. And holding at the top of the breath. And then slowly releasing. And we will take a third and final. Slowly breathe in. Hold at the top of the breath. And slowly release. In your mind, send this paper forward into the fire and watch it burn along with the others that have been sent in this space and time that is quantum. You can feel the energy of everyone around you who is releasing all of their pain from the deep darkness of Scorpio so that it may be burned purely and released into the air up towards the moon and the light that is shining. Knowing that this is a release and that the Taurus moon will help ground us during this time of the Scorpio season. So now I want you to slowly open your eyes and come back into your body. Ooh, and slowly recover. Start to wiggle a little bit. A lot of emotion. And now we are going to take our piece of paper. I am one of those, I love to rip it up. Hearing the ripping of it makes me feel much, much better. So I will rip this, and you may, if you are ready, go ahead and start your burn as we release this up. Just like the candle is the fire. And that energy is burning. And we are burning it some more. Yay. Right. So it's nice to release that energy. And one of the things that you can do, especially since we are doing this technically right before the moon is at its perfection, it is still a full moon this evening. We are still in that energy. We will be for the next several days. So if you want to come back and rewatch this part and release anything else that has come up for you during this time, I think that would be a good thing to do. I think that us always sharing this in the quantum way, again, you can release that energy, especially during times that you really need it. Scorpio season is so brutally emotional that I think it's a good time to really take a look at all those feelings that may be coming up for you. So with that, I do want to clear the air a little bit more with vibration. So I want this to help clear that energy out because I really feel we need it. So I will strike this. I feel like I got the last of that energy all cleared out. And now with that, we thank Diana for watching over us during this time and for all of the archangels. And now we will go ahead and blow out our candle. So with that, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. We will do a new moon ceremony next in 2 weeks. So be prepared for that. The astrology just gets stronger and stronger. So good night, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.